Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm putting together my November TBR, and I'm doing this pretty early in the month. Actually, this is currently like mid-October because I have less a list of specific books I want to read and more a theme that I want to try and stick to. And that theme is going to be finishing things I've started. As we're moving into the end of the year, I really want to be clearing things out and kind of giving myself some time to prepare for the new year. I know my reading will slow down kind of in late December as we're having like family stuff going on and things like that. So I just want to give myself some time to clear some stuff out, get some stuff polished off and completed, and feel good about going into the new year with kind of a clean slate. So as opposed to having a bunch of individual books I want to read, I have a set of basically 3 lists of things that I want to make additional progress on and try to get cleared out. The first of those lists, which I'm trying not to drop anything, so bear with me, but the first list is my currently reading. I think there's one thing missing off of this stack. I think Finley Donovan should also be here, but these are all things that are currently sitting in my currently reading on Goodreads. These are books that I have made significant progress through and feel like I remember well enough to just kind of continue from where I'm at, but I've just never come back to them for whatever reason, and for most of them I really couldn't tell you the reason. It just kind of happened. So I want to get back to these and polish them off because several of these I'm actually quite near the end. I think I've got like 100 pages left of the Decagon House Murders. I've got like 100 pages left of the X-Hex, which it's currently mid-October. I may try to polish this one off in October, so by the time you're seeing this, maybe I've already read it, but I don't know if I'm going to actually get to it. And I'm also about 100 pages away from the end of the writing retreat, and have been since like February. So I really would like to get some of these cleared out and finished off my to-read shelf. I at some point would like to get this little shelf cleared out and make it into like a TBR shelf, like immediate TBR shelf. But yeah, I want to get some things kind of cleared out of that currently reading list, and I would like to keep it lower in future. I think next year I'm going to aim to have no more than maybe 3 things on that list and make sure that they're things that I'm actually actively reading, because I do often read multiple books at a time. At the moment I'm currently reading 3 separate books and enjoying all of them, so that does often happen, but I want to keep it a little more focused next year and hopefully not have this situation as much where things end up kind of languishing. I also have Legends and Lattes I'm much closer to the beginning of rather than the end, so I have a little further to go, but I still feel like I remember a lot of this. And then Critical Hits is an essay collection, and I think I might try to read like an essay a day for the duration of November. I think that would be a fun way to read this. So that's the first list. The second list, I don't actually have any books to hold up for, but I'll put a picture of it up here. This is my self-destructing books list. I put this together at the end of last year with the intent of helping me clear out some of the things that have been languishing on my shelves for a really long time. This was inspired by Becca from Becca and the Books. She does this every year, and I just thought this was a great way to try to prioritize those things and really get a sense of like, do I care? Am I going to prioritize them if they're on a list where I have to unhaul them if I don't read them? And I feel like this is working really well for me. Of all the lists I created at the start of the year of things that I wanted to read across the year, this is the one list that I've made significant progress on in terms of either completing, DNFing, or just straight out unhauling things. So I'd like to complete this list before the end of the year, and I'm pretty close. I think I have like 5 books left on it, or at least I have 5 books left I want to prioritize. There's at least one. It's the Fifth Heart by Dan Simmons. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to read this one. This is a Sherlock Holmes spinoff kind of a thing, and I'm just not sure that I'm that interested in it anymore. It was very much my vibe when I was in high school when I bought it. It's kind of a fourth wall breaking kind of thing, but I'm just not sure that I'm that interested in picking it up at this point. But the other books on it, this Golden Flame, Pretty Girls, A Shadow All of Light, The Salt Wine, and I feel like maybe there's one other one, so maybe I have 6 books left, but you'll see them here. Basically everything except the Fifth Heart I'm really wanting to try and prioritize and get to. I'm thinking about maybe trying to do a vlog with that, but we'll kind of see how things pan out in November. But I would love to get the bulk of this list read or, you know, DNF'd. I don't want it to come around to the end of the year and just be like, oh, I didn't read any of these. So yeah, this one I think has been really, really successful for me in terms of motivating me to pick those books up. And yeah, I probably will be doing another one of these lists for 2025. So that should be coming soon as well, but I want to try and get as much of this list kind of filtered through as possible. The final list that I want to tackle is I have some sequels that I've been meaning to get to for ages. These are all second books in series where I read and loved the first book, may have even raved about the first book. I think actually all of these I raved about the first book. and now I have just never gotten back to reading the second one. In a couple of the cases, it's just because I'm scared, because these writers are not afraid to hurt their characters. I'm afraid of what's going to happen to them. But for others, it's just that I have failed to prioritize them, so I really want to come back to these and get through them. So these are the series that I'm hoping to prioritize for that. I read The Blade itself, I finished at the end of last year possibly, or the very beginning of this year. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say it was the end of last year. I started The Blade itself last January and finished it probably about this time last year, actually. So I've been meaning to read Before They Were Hanged for ages. My best friend read it and she said it's really good as well. So I really need to get to this one. I also have The Fractured Dark. I read The Blighted Stars earlier this year and was obsessed with it. I think I finished it in like March, immediately bought The Fractured Dark. Haven't read it yet. That is disappointing to me that I haven't read it yet. Similarly, A Restless Truth by Freya Marske. I love the first book, A Marvelous Light. It's one of my favorite fantasy romances I've ever read, so I really want to read this one. And then Jade War, I fear and respect Fonda Lee for Jade City. That book is so good. It is devastating in a really interesting way and does so many interesting things with its characters. I've been meaning to read Jade War. I know that this kind of opens up the world a little bit more and we get more of the kind of politics in larger world state, and I'm really excited about that. I'm just also very afraid of what's going to happen to all these characters that I grew to love. So yeah, these are the sequels that I really need to prioritize in the end of the year because I've been meaning to read them for ages and I'm excited for all of them. In some ways, I'm a little scared for all of them as well, so I just need to kind of get over that and finally continue in these series because I know I'm going to love them. I'm having a great time with the first books, or have had the great time with the first books already, and I just really want to dive back into these worlds. So that's pretty much my plans for November. I know I'm not going to read all of those books. It's simply not going to happen. I have found that this year my reading rate is a lot slower than it has been in previous years. I think I've been prioritizing some of my other hobbies a little bit more, which I'm totally fine with that. It just means that I know I'm not going to get through everything on this list. I think last year or the year before, probably not last year because I was in the middle of a master's degree, but I know I've read, as many as 11, 12 books in a single month, and that's just not been the reality for me this year. I've been reading closer to like 4 to 6, which still a decent number of books. I'm still happy with my reading pace. I just know that not all of these are going to get read, but that's the stack that I'd kind of like to work from. I want to try and get some of these things finished up and prepare myself to go into January with like a clean slate, have kind of a fresh start for 2025, and this is a step towards doing that. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below what you're going to be reading for November, if you have a theme or if you have specific books that you're planning to read. I would love to know what you all are going to be reading for November, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting on Tuesdays and Saturdays throughout October. May try to carry that into November as well, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.